Quentin, can you describe what it's like staying home, so to speak?
Man, it feels great. Not too far from home, so it's not that big of an adjustment going to a new place. I'm super excited to, stay in LA, stay within a familiar environment. It's awesome. It's what I wish for.
Do you have an idea this might happen?
Actually, I didn't know. Later in the draft, it gets kind of hectic. Teams are, hitting you up left and right, talking about post-draft stuff. And, I'm sitting there waiting, just hoping for my name to be called. But, luckily it was the Rams. I'm super excited. But I didn't know.
What do you think you bring to the Rams?
You're going to get a guy that, will do anything. Anything to play, is very coachable. A guy that can play multiple positions, can adapt well to new defenses, is versatile and has great ball skills. You're going to get a plug-and-play player. That's the biggest thing. You're going to get a guy that can do both, be an influence on defense and be an influence on special teams for sure.
When you say you can play most positions, tell us about all those positions.
Yeah. So, personally, I feel like, if you need a guy that can play, on the back end, a free safety type body, I can do that. If you need a guy that can come down and cover slots or even come down and be in the box and, play that strong safety position, I can do that too. If you need a guy that can come in as a dime linebacker and, cover tight ends and even cover running backs out the backfield, I can do that too. So, the biggest thing for me is, whatever the coaches want me to do, I'm there and I'm willing to do it.
Quentin, as you've developed in your football career from high school to now being drafted into the NFL, can you share how you've always been working to get to this point?
Yeah, man, this has been the dream since I was real early. Even before UCLA, I knew that being in the NFL and, making it to the NFL was definitely a dream. And, I continue to work throughout that, throughout my career in high school and even throughout my career in college. I knew the NFL was, something that I definitely wanted to accomplish.
Quentin, this team has a pretty deep history of, especially later round safety picks, contributing very early on in their career. Is there something about that you're looking forward to? And immediately in this scheme, where do you think you can fit in?
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, I think the biggest for me is, just being able to do whatever the coaches ask me. That's the biggest thing. You have to earn your stripes, especially when you get to the NFL. But no, the Rams have definitely done a good job, developing safeties. You got guys like, Eric Weddle. You got guys like, Johnny Johnson when he was here. Those type of bodies have had success, even though, some of them have moved on and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Rams organization has definitely done a great job in terms of my position and utilizing guys wherever they need. So I'm super excited and definitely looking forward to get to work.
Quentin, how do you feel like it's going to help you coming out of a program that's produced so many great NFL players like modern day, and then playing for coaches in college who had a lot of recent NFL experience? How does that help you?
Yeah, it just gives me the experience. I think the biggest thing that UCLA did for me was they treated me like a pro. So their transition, obviously it's going to be a little bit different, but it shouldn't be a culture shock. It shouldn't be a big shock. It should be a fairly smooth transition because UCLA did such a great job of, treating me like a pro and kind of understanding what it takes to be a pro. And you're surrounded by guys, we had, 4 draft picks go at UCLA. So just being around a bunch of other NFL talent has definitely prepared me for this moment.
When you were at Modern Day, it was the first time the Rams went to the Super Bowl. And then obviously at UCLA, they went last year. How much were you following this team?
I was following them more so this past year. I had went to a couple games actually. And I saw, the culture and the environment that they have. And I kind of fell in love with it. But I had definitely tabs on the Rams for a while, especially being at UCLA and being in LA. You don't really have a choice but to follow the Rams. But I always knew that they had a really good program. That was the biggest thing. They had stability. They had great coaches. They had great players. They have some of the top defensive players in the NFL. So coming in and even being able to learn from them and play with them is just awesome. It's something that you can't ask for as a rookie. So I'm super grateful for that opportunity, especially learning from that. All Pro Bowl guys, you can't, that learning experience is invaluable.
And I'm sorry if you've been asked this already earlier in your session, but the idea of playing with guys like Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner, and Jalen Ramsey, lining up across from you and, or, aside from you, what does that mean to you?
Honestly, I think it's going to elevate my game, to be honest. Those guys, they do everything to the T, super technical, obviously take their job seriously. So for me, it's like you kind of look up to them, but it's also a challenge. You're trying to kind of do what they did and live up to, the path that they made. And I think that's awesome for me coming in as a young guy is, you kind of see what they did and they laid the groundwork for the organization. So it's going to be awesome. It's just going to be awesome being around super high caliber guys, which is going to be amazing.
How do you describe growing up in Orange County and being in LA at UCLA and the phone rings and it could have been Atlanta, it could have been Jacksonville, could have been a lot of other places, but it's home. How do you describe that?
It's destined. I just think it's destiny. Me being a kid from Southern California, me going to UCLA, and then me, playing for the Rams in LA. It's just meant to be. To continue, no, like I said, it's destiny. It's destiny. It was just meant to be. There's not a lot of words to explain it, but I'm just grateful. That's the biggest thing. I'm just grateful, to be a kid, staying out on the West Coast, staying in a familiar environment, and then going to an organization that, was the best in the world and, hopefully is the best in the world for the next couple of years. It's just awesome.
What does it mean, Quentin, to follow up in your father's footsteps?
Pardon me?
What does it mean for you to follow up in your dad's footsteps?
It's awesome. And I'm glad I had a father figure like that because he definitely laid the groundwork. Although I am kind of following his footsteps in terms of, going to the NFL and playing in the NFL, I think the biggest thing for me is now I have really a chance for my own legacy, which is going to be amazing. Obviously, he's a resource that I've used throughout my college career. It has been great, but, now it's time for me to shine. It's time for me to really even level up past him and do things, bigger and better than what he did. And that's the goal, just to be the best player I can and, help an organization win Super Bowls, which, I feel like we can back to back to back to back.
Him being that resource, what were some of the most valuable things he taught you or has taught you?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is just control what I can control. And once you do that, you really have a mindset of, you're focusing on everything that you can do each and every day. Not worried about, the uncontrollables of, what will happen the next day or, not focusing on the past and not even focusing on the future, just really being in the present moment. That's the biggest thing. And another thing is he just taught me how to be a man. He taught me, how to be respectful, how to kill myself, all that stuff. And then in terms of football, he's the one that taught me the game. He taught me, what to look for in offensive schemes, how offenses like the defense, who do they like to target on certain down and distances, all that. So all the stuff has been great in terms of being by my side.
All right, Quentin, we appreciate you. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Go Rams.